Hi guys, I'm going to take you on a quick library run. This month's a little different because I had a Battleship readathon lined up where we didn't know our TBR, so that is why there is no TBR video. But I decided to take you on a library haul of books that I am going to get just to have stuff lined up for possible prompts. Also just things that I'm in the mood for because I'm not buying books currently and I am trying to get as many library books as I can to just have on hand. The next video I will be posting after this will be my summer TBR possibles, so that will just also be kind of in place of having an actual TBR this month. So without further ado, I'm going to take you to the library. I got down, buddy. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I got. I also am going to include footage, probably already have, of just a fun little park day I had with Leah and the kids and some fun ice cream and stuff that we got this new place that just opened up. So it was really a blast. So the first one that I showed you guys was Death in Dark Blue. This book is the second book in the Dark and Stormy Murder series, which I did really enjoy. I gave the first one 3.5 stars, and it was enough that I wanted to continue. And I'm just in the mood for cozies right now, so I wanted to have this one on hand because I do like to read them physically if I have them. I do not buy them though because there's just so many books in cozy series that I will never buy them anymore because I would have way too many books. So the only ones I plan on keeping and buying is the Live and Let Try series, and I'm probably going to start collecting one of my new favorites, which is the Libby Klein series. The class reunions are murder. Okay, so the next one I picked up is for Hannah's book club this month, and this is the Thursday Murder Club, and I have heard such great things about this book, but I have been hesitant because I'm not sure this is going to be my style of book. I do really want to try it. I want to kind of get out of my comfort zone with some different types of mysteries. My thing is, like, I don't really love slow thriller books, so because this is a mystery, I'm just concerned I'm not gonna staying interested. I also don't like Agatha Christie, and whatever reason this author gives me those vibes. But I do want to try it. I'm going to give it a solid effort, especially because it's Hannah's book club. This one says, in a peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet weekly in the Jigsaw Room to discuss unsolved crime. Together they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. There's Red Ron, the infamous former socialist firebrand still causing trouble. Gentle Joyce, widowed, pining for another resident, but surely not as innocent as she seems. Ibrahim, a former therapist who understands the darker side of human nature, and Elizabeth. Well, no one is quite sure who she really is, but she's definitely not a woman to underestimate. Then a local developer is found dead. The Thursday Murder Club suddenly finds themselves in the middle of their first live case. In the Thursday Murder Club, Richard Osman has employed all of his considerable wit and intelligence to give us just the curl up and read novel we need right now. It is pure enjoyment, so prepare yourself for a flat out pleasure of a book. Also, they just announced a movie is coming out, so I definitely want to watch this movie, and even if I don't enjoy the book, I think that I would probably have a good time with the movie. Okay, so that brings me to the next book I got. We Solve Murders. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this one. This was mentioned in the last readathon I did for Murder and Mayhem, and it was one of the victim favorites, and so that is why I had grabbed it. I did not get to it. I just started. I'm only like 30 pages in, so I have no thoughts. I do want to give it a solid try. Again, not sure if I'm gonna like it, but I want it. With every author, I try to give them the 3 strikes you're out rule, so even if I don't love these 2, I will try one more, and I make sure to always do that, because there have been authors that I have given up on, Abby Jimenez, and it was 2 books I read and absolutely hated, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give her one more chance, and I had almost written her completely off, and it was actually that 3rd book that completely convinced me, and now I absolutely love Abby Jimenez and all of the books I've read since. So that is why I give them all 3 chances, because I just want to make sure that I don't write someone off and miss some incredible books that I could have really loved. So the next one I have is The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis. This one is a new historical fiction that just came out that I actually had on my list of anticipated 2025 reads. I'll link that video below. So I was really excited when I saw this at the library so I could snag it. It takes place in Egypt, 1936, when Charlotte Cross is offered a coveted spot as an archaeologist dig. In Egypt's Valley of the Kings, she leaps at the opportunity that is until an unbearable tragedy strikes. In New York City, 1978. 19-year-old Annie Jenkins is thrilled when she lands an opportunity to work for former Vogue fashion. Diana Vreeland, who's in the midst of organizing the famous Met Gala hosted at the museum and known across the city as the party of the year. Meanwhile, Charlotte is now leading a quiet life as the associate curator of the Met's celebrated Department of Egyptian Art. She's consumed by her research. A rare female pharaoh dismissed by most other Egyptianists as unimportant. The night of the gala, one of the Egyptian art collection's most valuable artifacts goes missing, and there are signs that there is a legendary curse that might be awakening. Annie and Charlotte's team up to search for the missing antiquity, and a desperate hunch leads the unlikely duo to one place Charlotte swore she'd never return: Egypt. But if they have any hope of finding the artifact, Charlotte will need to confront the demons of her past, which may lead them both directly into danger. So this is definitely a different type of historical fiction than what I've read. I typically gravitate to the Civil War time period or World War II. Those are just the ones that I absolutely love reading about. I tend to like just more high stakes things going on in my historical fiction. That doesn't mean that I haven't loved historical fiction that is slower. For example, The Four Winds is based on the Great Depression and it is slower, and I absolutely adored that book by Kristen Hanna and gave it 5 stars. But it's Kristen Hanna and I don't think she can write a bad book. So when it comes to other historical fiction authors, I'm much pickier. The other person that I have loved most books by is Kate Quinn. I really haven't found a historical fiction author that I have loved a good bit of their books by yet. I'm just really picky when it comes to that. The other author I would mention is Lynn Austen. I have loved everything that she has written. Again, though, it's World War II period and Civil War period that she writes about. So I'm trying to dabble in some historical fiction set in other time periods. So I would say that the more recent ones that I've read that I have become more interested in and enjoyed was the Great Depression, as well as the most recent one I read was about the Berlin Wall, and I really love that one. I'll put that here. I reviewed that arc last year and I really love that one. So I definitely want to pick up more about that time period. Okay, so the next one I picked up was The Safari. This is one that I had on my list for summer. I really wanted to read it. It was honestly a pure cover buy, but upon reading about it, I find anything that has to do with African safaris type of things to be so intriguing. And I really wanted to read this because of that. I felt like it was perfect for summer. So on this luxury South African safari, the animals aren't the most dangerous predators. Odella Babel, CEO of a sustainable fashion empire, is about to marry for the second time to a man. Asher Batch is the 30-something designer of Odelia's high-end clothing line, the darling of every fashion journalist and madly in love with Odelia. Eager to celebrate her nuptials with her nearest and dearest, Odelia invites her adult children and daughter-in-law, her grandchildren, and her best friend, assistant to an all-expensive paid safari at Leopard Sands in South Africa, the Babel family's favorite vacation spot. In its soil, they have deep roots and even deeper secrets. It seems like the perfect trip, but not everyone is thrilled for the happy couple. Amid game drives in the bush and bonfires beneath the desert stars, tensions within the family threaten to boil over, and then, hours before the wedding, Odelia is found murdered. As the host royals, desperate poachers, and ferocious animals lurk, and dark motives fester, it becomes clear that whoever killed Odelia isn't quite finished yet, and the rest of the Babel family is their prey. I hope I love this one. I have been burned on cover buys, but this sounds so intriguing to me, and I just had to try it. I had to try it, and I did just score the audio from Libby, so it will probably be very soon. And then lastly, this was a total steal because sometimes if I get to my smaller library upon release dates or the week of, they have not gotten the new books out yet. And if they don't have them out yet, they are not in the system for people to put holds on. So I saw this on the desk and it did not have the cover put on it yet. It was not processed yet. And if I ask politely, they will sometimes let me snag it before it's in the system, which they did. And so I did not have to wait on the thousands of holds that will be on this as soon as it is in the system. So I'm very excited. I snagged this early. I am about 75 pages in and I am enjoying it. Don't know how I feel about it quite yet. It's still a little confusing to me. There's a lot of world building in this so far that I'm not quite used to, with gargoyles, and there's knights and a lot of gothic vibes in this one, giving me some part of belladonna vibes, cathedral vibes. Oh, and they have their eyes covered kind of like seers do. That is something I was recently introduced in Slaying a Vampire Conqueror, I think is what it was called. I'll put up the picture, where that was the first book I read with a seer in it, and she had her eyes covered. And I hadn't read any books like that before where they had to keep their eyes covered. In this book, the women that are the diviners have to keep their eyes covered and have not seen anybody. They are basically loyal to this woman that's in charge at the cathedral. I can't remember her name. They're loyal to her for like 10 years before they can go and live their lives. They're basically taken as children. So it is different. It is definitely different. Don't have a lot of thoughts yet. So those are all the books that I snagged at the library. I of course have quite a few others on Libby that I'm not able to show you. I figured that would be the best TBR video I could really give you because, again, I couldn't really plan one, and I also just wanted to mood read this month after last month. I was just purely exhausted. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I am sorry that it's coming to you late. I just needed a couple weeks off break. I was exhausted. Till next time, friends, remember to read what inspires you. Bye.